All right, it is showtime. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of 27 Outs. As always, I am Ivan alongside Stefan. Shout out to all of you who are stopping by here with us with another brand new episode. For those of you who missed out on the two shows that we did last week, make sure you guys go ahead and check that out, especially our last show, which was the one that we did the day of, or the night of, I should say, rather, of the trade deadline. So we obviously did our own special edition. And we spoke about, what we thought about some of the teams who actually did a lot, the
Yeah.
teams who didn't do much at all, and the teams who, quite frankly, we're going to get into this later tonight. The teams who probably made some of these deals for no reason, right? Like, I know it's only been a few days since we've seen some of these guys put on new uniforms and see what's possibly going to happen over the next 2 months of regular season baseball that is left. But yeah, I'm excited. Here we are. By the way, guys, before we get into, how we're going to start off tonight's show, Stefan, you already know this, bro, but I do want to let the people know as well. So, guys, long story short, my allergies have been all over the place. I'm talking since earlier today. There seems to be no solution for my nose today. So if you see me mute myself, if you see me sneeze, give me a second. I gotta get myself together. I honestly thought that by now, it would be better. And I kind of have moments. Like I have like a 30-minute phase where I'm okay. And then I have like a sneeze attack for like 3 minutes straight. So it could really go either way. It's a toss-up. Not just that, but one funny thing I want to share with you guys as well is, like, and fellas, I don't know if you feel this way, Stefan, but for the people who go to the barber, because I go to the barber, right? But what I want to get into is I like to trim my mustache down before I see my barber. And I didn't see him, between the last show and this one. But I wanted to trim the mustache. I'm like, yo, it's getting a little dark. I have a trimmer here. I don't know what I did wrong, bro. I guess I had, the guard, as they call it, on the machine, not where I usually have it. So, I'm doing my thing, I'm trimming. And then when I'm done, I look at myself in the mirror. Silly old me, I should have been doing it while looking at the mirror. But anyway, I played myself. And I went a little too low. So I got like the 5 o'clock shadow now near the mustache area. But while it is funny, and I did laugh at myself for playing myself, but at the same time, for those of us who do have facial hair, like I'm not all that mad. Give me like 4 days, 5 days, and watch this thing be dark again. You know how it is.
I know,
And even
bro.
if you don't have like a crazy mustache, like even when it comes to just getting lined up, getting yourself right, like it don't even last a full 7 days, bro. You get
Yo,
like a good 3, maybe 4 days out of it. But anyway, it's gonna grow back. I'll be fine.
I literally just got to shape up last week. I hit my uncle up. I was like, yo, you got to shape me up. I got the show tonight. And he
It's
just did it like
crazy.
a couple days ago. So literally, it doesn't last. Like, you feeling fresh for like 2 days and then it's growing out. You feel like you got to, like, yo, what's going on here? And then for the people that actually pay to go to the barber shop, you got to be physically sick. I just spent $40 on a cut and it don't even look like I got a cut now. My hair is all out of place. Yo, crazy.
That's why I don't go nearly as much because before I used to be on some like weekly type. Now
Yeah,
I'll even go 1 time a month. I try to go 2 times per month, but
2 times a month.
sometimes
Like,
depending on the month, I'll only go 1 time and that's
no,
it.
and I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why I like to be like shaped up, I don't like the hair over the neck. That bothers me and it itches a lot. So I just like having no hair on my neck. And I also like having the beard shaped up because I do have like a big, burly, bushy beard. So if it's not shaped up, when I wake up in the morning, it looks insane. Like I got hair over here. Yo, crazy, looking crazy. Um. Anyway, speaking of looking crazy, bro, I want to start here. I want to do something different tonight. We're gonna get to all the pros deadline stuff and the weekend's games and what we think and changing of the guard, which is why this passing of the torch is the name of this episode. But I'll tell you what else needs to be passed: umpire classes. These umpires need to go to school. I read something today on Twitter, and there was also some other stuff on other, people's pages. July was the worst month in terms of accuracy for all umpires around baseball. The worst month of the season. And the thing that I took from it was they're normal, they're human, just like the players are. They get tired, they get hot, the travel gets to them too. But this is where you got to buckle down and literally get yourself together, because you can cost the team a game, you can cost the team a playoff spot, you can cost the team all types of benefits by not doing your job and doing it to the best of your ability. And right now, if I'm the players, I'm petitioning the league that if an umpire, gets more than 10 calls wrong in a game, they get a demerit. If the same umpire gets another 10 calls wrong in a game in the span of a month, they get another demerit. And if you get 3 demerits on your record, you have to go back down to the minor leagues for at least a month and a half to 2 months to figure out what is it that you're missing. While strikes should be strikes and balls should be balls, there should be no in between. It should not. Listen, I'm
I
ready
like
for
that
it.
actually.
I'm
Because
ready.
we have players get sent down. So why
Yes,
not have umpires do the same thing when they're going through a rough stretch as well?
exactly. And I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to let you get to it. I'm ready for the ABS system. I'm ready to see robo umpires. I'd never thought I'd be a fan of it, but some of the stuff you seeing in these games is egregious. I'm talking literal to the point where you are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're costing these play, and not only that, you're costing yourself money, these players money, and then you know what I love, bro, and we're gonna get to you in a second, is when umpires complain about, oh, I didn't make the postseason and I didn't get to call postseason games. Well, I wonder why that is. You were bad all regular season, and then you wonder why you're not calling postseason games.
You don't
Just
deserve it.
just thought I'd get that rant out the way. What do you think about this? Because
Right. No,
I'm
you're
fed
right.
up.
We spoke about it briefly through text, just the other day. I'm so ready for it.
Yes.
I'll share with everyone who's watching right now. I went as far as to share with Stefan, like, hey, if you would have asked me, and I don't think this is something that will happen. I don't even think it's going to be a thought. But if it were up to me, I would say, listen, play these last 2 months of regular season baseball as it is, as it has always been, right? And listen, come October, forget wait until next year. I would say come October, we are beginning with the ABS system moving forward. No ifs, ands, or buts. And
Mm.
I agree with you, Stephen, because when I first heard of, the possibility of this becoming a reality, which, by the way, we're getting very closer to, right? Like, it would not surprise me if come opening day, forget opening day, come spring training of next year, like we see this on an everyday basis. My issue is, though, a lot of people, especially if you're an old school baseball fan, right? Which, people like Stefan and I, and perhaps maybe some of you guys who enjoy the show as well, or probably underneath that category as well. And I'm not mad at you, right? Because when you watch baseball for as long as some of us have, like the umpires, while they while they appear to be like their own thing on the field, they play an essential role in dictating the game for both sides, right? And I think, there's something needs to happen, whether guys are being sent down, whether umpires start to get fined after you reach a certain amount of missed calls in a season. Because I do believe, and mistakes do happen, Stefan. I do believe that these guys do feel fatigued as well. Like, I get it. But at the same
What
time, it's getting to a point now where something's got to be done. And enough with, oh, well, it is what it is. And they could go ahead and do the same exact thing the following game if they really wanted to. That's a
so
problem.
what I would do is I would say, listen, you get rotated out after 6 series. We're gonna get some new fresh blood in here. So basically, what I would say to the umpires is, listen, you get a month's worth of games, you get a week off. You get a month's worth of games, you get a week off, because they get fatigued too. And what'll happen is it'll allow the minor league umpires to come up and be able to assimilate themselves with the major league umpires. And now you're starting to see the new fresh crop of young umpires who may have a better understanding of what the strike zone is supposed to be like, because a lot of the older umpires have interpretations of the strike zone. Remember how they used to say back in the day when we were younger, it's up to the umpire's discretion what he sees as a strike and what he sees as a ball. However, since we started tracking umpires, it's a lot more blatant when a mistake is made, because you could literally look in the box. And I'm not saying the box on the screen is uniform, but there's sometimes when you look at a ball, you're like, bro, like that's literally at the catcher's, like that's
Yeah,
literally
like
at your
2
man's
feet off.
shins. How are you calling that a strike? That is unbelievable. And you can't blame the players who turn around and say, yo, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to eject me. Bryce Harper just went crazy on an umpire the other day. And what I will say is, honestly, you need to have challenges now for balls and strikes. And what I would say is too is if I have to use more than 2 challenges in the game, that umpire automatically can't be behind the plate for like a week. We need to start enforcing how important it is, especially the behind the plate umpire. They get a lot of fire. I get it. You're in the line every night. You're calling a game. It's tough. But you have to be able to have some level of fairness. Like you said, if we're going to send players down to the minor leagues for lack of performance, we have to be able to do the same thing for the officials that have the game's outcome in their hands, so to speak. Right. You determine what's safe or out. You determine what's a ball or a strike. So you have to pay the same penance that the players do, at least to some degree.
Yeah, of course.
And real quick, I don't know how you feel about this. I have a question. Should there be age limits on umpires? And I'm not trying to be ageist or start a conversation. No, seriously, like, should there be a point where, like, you get to a certain age and your reflexes aren't as fast as they used to be? The game speeds up. These guys are throwing harder. The base runners are faster. The game is moving at a much faster pace. So I wonder now, if you are Major League Baseball, if you put a age limit in, like, after 60 or after 65, you can't do this. You will put you in the replay center. You can work your final years in the replay center, but being on the actual field, not a good idea.
I do like that to a certain extent, actually. Not because, again, I don't want to come off as ageist for anyone who may take it as that, because that is not the angle or the approach that we're trying to come off with while, diving into this topic. But I agree with it from the standpoint of, for example, look at the athletes, right? These guys are freshly in their 20s, freshly in their 30s. They're young, they're thriving. And even they sometimes can't get around on a fastball that's 100, 101, 102. 103, because that's what guys are throwing nowadays, right? Now imagine an umpire, and while, listen, I get it. Some of these guys have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 plus years.
Some guys even 30 years they've been doing
right.
it.
You certainly deserve to be in the spot that you're in, whether you be an athlete or, in this case, an umpire. But listen, if athletes who play the sport every single day can't seem to get around on some of these pitches, I agree. I don't expect somebody to be 60 to 65 years old to be able to pinpoint, a fastball, whether it was a ball or a strike, that was thrown at 100 plus miles per hour.
It's kind of crazy.
Because just like an athlete's skill actually dwindles, I think an umpire's ability to be able to determine a ball, a strike, a safe, an out call dwindles as well.
Yeah. And you know how you know that that's true? Because you see these older umpires just struggling to get out of the way of a rocket down the line. These umpires literally do the dance, the chicken dance, to try to get out of the way because you don't want to get pelted with a line drive. I'm fine with that, right? But like at some point and it's all about the safety for them as well. Forget about us being ageist and things like that. Like, you got balls coming off the bat at 110 miles an hour, 112 miles an hour. when Ellie De La Cruz and Giancarlo Stanton and Schwarber and all these guys step to the plate, the last thing I want is an old umpire going, yo, I'm about to get hit in the noggin with a rocket. Can I get out of the way? Is it possible? Is it feasible? Now it becomes a safety issue, which Major League Baseball also needs to be cognizant of as well.
Of course.
I have one final thought on this. And this is kind of where I'm straddling both sides of the fence, because while I understand you need new blood in the game, I also understand that these newer umpires got to get a grip on, we didn't come to see you call a game. We came to see these players play. If the player has a problem with a call you made, I understand you don't want to be shown up. I get all of that. But ejecting that player does nothing but hurt the product you work for. It really does. You got to give these players a chance to voice their frustrations, especially if the call is so egregiously bad that they're looking at you like, Blue, come on, bro. Like twice in this at bat, you did this.
And
to me?
a lot of these players who do get caught up, right? A lot of them are actually right.
Yes.
Like every time Juan Soto gets pissed off about a call, I know he's right. Like right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, this dude, there's very few people in the league who are good at being able to analyze what's a ball, what's a strike.
Yeah.
And when you see certain guys, as I mentioned, like a Juan Soto, as you mentioned, a Bryce Harper, who, by the way, I think has been ejected like damn near 20 times. If I had to take a guess,
I love
like that at this point.
I love it.
Somebody's got to speak up, right?
I love it. And honestly, I'd rather it come from the player than the manager. Because the player, I understand the manager's there to protect the player. So you don't want the player getting ejected because of something he said to the umpire or a magic word or two. I get it. But you have to be able to let these players have a moment. And here's the other thing, too. There has to be strike zones for different players. Like Aaron Judge is 6'8". Kyle Schwarber's a big dude. Like the strike zone cannot be uniform for everybody. There has to be exceptions to the rule. Because what's on a guy's shin or thigh or lower leg may not be uniform for everyone. And there needs to be a certain code of like some give and take, especially when you got a guy that's 6'8", 280, who is not the normal baseball player.
Yeah, you know I agree. I think there should be no reason why the strike zone is the same for Jose Altuve and a guy
as
like
it is for Aaron Judge. Yeah, it can't be uniform because it's not the same thing.
Right.
We got to get baseball. You got to do better at this, man. Because
for sure. As I mentioned, hopefully 2026 is the year of more change, because it's not going to be like every year at this point now we've been seeing something new being implemented into the game. And while some of this stuff has been criticized up front, like the pitch clock, and listen, as I mentioned, I would not be surprised if there are people who are saying, yo, there's no way in hell you bring this ABS system where now it basically eliminates, an umpire's call. Well, listen, I think it matters not only to the people who watch the game now, but for the athletes, right? Like some of these athletes, like they go into the plate with a game plan. And because you got a call or maybe even two in certain cases absolutely wrong, now like my mind as an athlete is all over the damn place because I got a guy behind me calling balls and strikes who can't even do his damn job.
Yeah, it's I'm going to be honest, seriously. It's also comes down to situationally how important a call is. Like if you screw a call up and it's the 8th inning, I got runners on second and third will run out, and I'm trying to get 2 RBIs on the pond here, and you get a call wrong, that could be the game for us. That could be the difference between a team getting a wild card spot and missing the playoffs completely. It's that finite of a difference. And for people that don't see that, that is great. That is insane. And Rob Manfred, you're on top of everything. You want everything to be new age. This is the next thing that has to be conquered. And I'm going to say this, the ABS system will be in place for 2026. That is a guarantee. They're going to implement this system. This is going to be something you see around all ballparks. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. Now,
No,
yeah, the human element is a big part of baseball, and we do love it. But to get the calls right, especially in big moments, is what we should be striving for here.
I agree with you when it comes to the human element and what an umpire brings in terms of the feel for the game.
Yes.
But when I look at the like, you ever heard the saying you got to get with the times? And I kind of feel like Major League Baseball over the past
Hasn't
few
done that.
seasons, especially
Mm-hmm.
with Rob Manfred, finally giving in to some of these things that a lot of people have been screaming about for years now.
Yeah.
I think it makes total sense, right? Like, as I mentioned, I know it sounds crazy to somebody who's been watching baseball all their life, but we're in 2025 now, right? And to be able to have some form of technology determine what's a ball, what's a strike, rather than somebody behind home plate, it sounds absolutely normal if you really think about it.
Well, if you take it just out of a baseball concept, we use technology for everything else. Directions, ordering food,
Yeah.
uh, getting your groceries delivered. That's all technology. Being on this live stream right now, we're using technology. We're
Yeah, you
on
know what's
technology
crazy?
right now.
It's funny you say that, and shout out to everybody who's watching right now. But we're having this conversation, and I just heard what you said a few seconds ago, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, us as humans, like, we don't use our brains how humans once did.
Yes.
I kind of feel like we're using what humans have always been good at, and we're now relying on, machines and technology
Yes.
to do some of that stuff for us. And I get it, right? Like, life is already hard for all of us. It may vary depending on who you talk to and what you may be
Yeah.
going through in life. So I get it.
Yeah.
Some of these things aren't all that bad. But when I do take a step back and I think about like what certain people did, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years ago, it's like, damn, we don't do that anymore now. And it
You know,
even less moving forward.
what's crazy is my grandpa used to tell me he used to listen to games on the radio. I can't even fathom listening to games on the radio anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like technology is so crazy. You put up a screen, the game's right in the palm of your hand. You don't even need radio. Like I took a screenshot the other night behind the scenes because we watch baseball here. We really do this. This is like life for me. I had 4 games on the Mac. I had a game on the iPad, and I had a game on the TV. There were literally 6 games running simultaneously in my house at the same time.
Did you have an IV with like an extra game going through your bloodstream?
I thought about it. I thought about it. And so, like you say, well, how do you watch all those games? Because you can literally now I pick apart, like I pinpoint when I want to watch a certain game, the situation, things like that. But I like to have it on in the peripheral because I like to see how the game flows, right? How a game is moving, what the pitchers are calling, what the hitters approach. And listen, a lot of it now is so lost in translation. Now I'm going to talk out of both sides of my face as we transition. While we need to do something about these umpires, this heavy analytic movement, we got to there has to be some level of mix, right? Because I'm going to go somewhere very specific. You know where I'm going. If you were in the chat with me and Ivan this weekend, he knows where I'm going. If a player was on the bench with Jazz Chisholm this weekend, who has been in the big leagues for about 10 to 15 years, Aaron Boone don't got to say a word because it's the player wringing Jazz Chisholm's neck for making that stupid decision that he made on Saturday. The problem with baseball, the problem with all sports, and the problem with society even, forget about just sports in general, we have diminished the idea that older people with a lot more common sense than we have something to contribute to the modern society. Well, the numbers say I should be leaning this way, and the percentages say I should be leaning this way. How about the eye test that says, you know what, bro, what you did was boneheaded. It was wrong. It should not have been done. And for you to come out after the game on the post-game show and say, I would have did nothing different. I would have suspended him right then and there. You're not playing the next 2 games. We're going to have a conversation as to whether you even fit to be on this team moving forward. And the fact that that did not happen to the Yankee, that did not happen. None of the Yankees went up to this dude and said, "What are you doing?" And then boom, with the courtesy of, "Oh, I'm going to bring him into the clubhouse to have a conversation or in the hallway." Obviously, the conversation didn't work because he was on the field the next day.
Right, and that's a problem for me.
To me, and I'm letting you go right now, to me, how you get these players to realize how wrong they are, you can't cut them because they're making more money than they've ever made before. You got to sit them down. You got to put them on the bench. You got to let them know you
You
make
know
mistakes.
why is that so frowned upon, right? Because we're not talking about sitting guys for the next 7 games, for the next 2 weeks. We're not trying to go that far. All we're saying is, listen, if you messed up, right? And it's not like we're talking, like you say, Stephen, out of our rear end, but these were things that were a part of the game once upon a time. Like it was normal for any athlete in across any sport to mess up. And whether it be a teammate, whether it be a head coach, whether it be a manager, pull that player aside and say, listen, first of all, you shouldn't be doing that. And secondly, I think you might be able to sit out for this game and probably for tomorrow's game. And then we'll consider how things are going to look moving forward. Until you know that there are certain things that you just should not do. And I like the fact that you mentioned Chisholm and the post-game interview after he was thrown out at first, because he talked about, his time there, and he remembers how, some of the things that they would do defensively to play with an opponent's mind to kind of throw them off their game. Listen, Jazz, I don't think people care about what you did for the Marlins anymore, bro. Not even the team themselves care about what it was that you did for them once upon a time. You were wrong, and that's it. There's no other way to put it. And I am so thankful and happy, ecstatic. I mean, whatever you want to call it, right? That Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter on the Fox broadcast said, yo, you know what? Listen, if I did that back in my day, I would have been benched, A-Rod said.
No doubt.
Jeter's like, yo, somebody's got to say something. Like, you can't keep making these mistakes. And I know we're talking about Jazz right now, but it's really the entire team. No lie.
Nah, it's the entire team, but it's also an epidemic around baseball. How many times you watch a game, not even the Yankees, it could just be 2 random teams. They're like, bro, you didn't see that? The ball's right in front of you. You didn't see that. You thought, let me go home and he's about to gun me out. Like there was a play in another game that I'm like, so we're sending him and he's about to get thrown. He's a dead duck at the plate. And I'm sitting there going, yo, the fundamentals of the game on how to read swings, how to read, again, it goes back to situational fundamental baseball. It's something that is so gone in the modern game. It's disgusting. And honestly, I'm not blaming Travis Chapman, the first base coach, because what am I supposed to do? I'm going to yell at him on the field and make him look even stupider than he already looks. And here's the problem. The reason why, to me, there is no accountability, especially with the Yankees right now, is because, again, I'm going to be the get off my lawn guy. We going back to 90s Yankees because I'm not used to these Yankees. The Yankees I know, Derek Jeter, if he made that mistake, you know where he's going? He's sitting right next to Joe Torre, and he's going, you know what? Skip, if you're going to pull me, pull me. I got it. It's cool. I got it. In fact, quick story. There was a game. Derek Jeter tells this story all the time. There was a game that he tried to steal third with 2 outs. He got gunned out. It was the final out of the inning, and the Yankees were rallying. Do you know what Derek Jeter does? He goes, he sits next to Torre. Torre says, yo, if you don't ever do that again, get out my sight, go take your position, and let's go win the game. Jeter never made the same mistake twice. And that is when you know that there's accountability. The fact that Jazz Chisholm did not come off the field to get his glove, to get everything he needs, and you waited for your teammate to bring the glove to you because you didn't want to face the ire of the manager, that just shows me, number one, you don't know how to handle criticism or critiques well. And number two, it shows that there is no accountability in that clubhouse at all. Austin Wells had a gaffe the other day. We've seen several base running gaffes with the
But
Yankees this year.
why? Here's my thing, right? We're talking about the big league level, right? We're talking about Major League Baseball.
Yes.
You know, some of these guys have been playing baseball all their lives, right? Mm-hmm. I know you have the select few who literally don't start picking up a ball and a bat until like they're like in high school, which, by the way, shout out to those people who figured out later in life.
Right.
But for the most part, a lot of these guys are playing, you know, from the point of being able to play T-ball.
Yeah.
You have been criticized literally up until you finally get that call to the big league level. And suddenly, now that you finally made it, it's frowned upon to call a player out, to bench him because you don't want them to get into their fields. Bro, you've been called out your entire career until you finally got to the point where you needed to be at to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, why is all of that thrown out of the window, bro? Like, I hate it. Like, players don't do it no more. Managers don't do it. Front offices don't do it. Like, I hate it. And you just said it yourself, Stefan. I know we're coming off as two guys, like, screaming, get off my front lawn.
Yeah.
But, dude, I am so sick of, you know, a lot of people call this generation right now very soft. You can't tell them anything. You can't check them. Mind you, you don't even got to say something that's like out of whack. You don't got to say a curse word. Like, you don't got to say anything that easily triggers them.
Yeah, you don't have to demean them. You could literally
break
just say
it down to a T.
Yeah.
And they would still find a way to twist it all up and say, yo, but he just hurt my feelings. He offended me. What?
So here's the problem with people that say that. If you're offended, then you're in the wrong line of work, excuse me, because you're getting paid a lot of money to play a kid's game that most people would love to play. And the idea that somebody bringing correction to a mistake you make offends you is reprehensible to me, and that needs to be buttoned out. And the other thing I'll say too is, as we're going to get to these comments, and thank you guys for watching, the other thing I'll say too to wrap up this subject, unless you have more, Ivan, is the idea that none of this is being taught at the minor league level either, bro. Like, you could tell none of these drills, none of this stuff is being taught, because it was a story today. The Yankees took infield practice. They took full infield practice before the game. When we were coming up as kids, that was every day. That wasn't just shagging balls in the outfield. You were going through, if a cutoff throw comes here, this is where you're supposed to be. If it throws over here, this is where the third baseman is supposed to be. You literally practiced while you were on the field. This is where I'm supposed to be if just in case this were to happen. And the general idea that that is not a common practice around baseball anymore. Listen, the coaching needs to be so more advanced and so more appreciated and studied and things like that. And this is why, to me, we need Jorge Posada in the game. We need a Yadier Molina in the game. We need an Albert Pujols in the game. We need a Carlos Beltran in the game. We need a Jim Thome in the game. Tell these kids forget about launch angle. See ball, hit ball. Wherever ball goes, that's where ball goes. It like the game of baseball now, it's almost like you're watching, the Benny Hill music, the circus music that they play when something crazy happens. I feel like you watch highlights and I'm like, yeah, that'll be perfect to the Benny Hill music.
Right.
He missed the cutoff throw. He forgot where he was supposed to be. And then they get mad. These players get mad when it comes up in the post-game press conference, like you're above the criticism of being told, you got that wrong. Because here's the thing. Not only are you going to hear it from the media, but you're going to hear it from the fans on social media, Instagram, Twitter. You're going to hear it. And the thing is, If the players aren't going to wear it because you can't fire them, I tell you can fire. Aaron Boone needs to lose his job. And not because I don't think Aaron Boone's a good manager and I don't think Aaron Boone can do the job, because he got you to the World Series last year and he's over like 600 wins as Yankee manager. Obviously, he's good at his job. What he's not good at, though, is being able to criticize his players, not only in a private setting, but I would do it publicly too. I would. I'm sorry. Jazz knows better than that. That's a boneheaded mistake. Not it can't happen. Not we'll handle it internally. Listen, Jazz got it wrong. Austin Wells got it wrong. This one got it wrong. And you know how I feel about Jason Dominguez. Jason, you're throwing behind the cutoff man on Friday night. You're going in the third. Why? Why don't you throw at second? Keep the double play in order. Throw to the cutoff man. That's why they're there. Yo.
Yeah, before I actually share my thoughts on what you just said, Stefan.
Jesus.
We are 36 minutes into the show right now. I want to take a second to thank all of you guys for watching us to this point. If you're not already following us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, also known as X, make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on all of those at 27 Outs 3C. And as I mentioned, for those of you watching the only way right now, which is live via YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new here, welcome aboard. That's Stefan. I'm Ivan. This is 27 Outs. Welcome. We're pleased to have you. And make sure you also subscribe, right? Not only for the rest of this show, but for future content as well. Yeah, so I just want to share my 2 cents when it comes to the Yankees because, listen, man, I know, we broke down the deals that they made last week, at the deadline to really, I guess, put themselves in position to, get out of this funk that they've been in for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But I don't care who they acquired. I don't care that Aaron Judge is coming back tomorrow. I don't care that Luis Hill is back and he's off the. I don't care who it is. I shared this with you guys on the last show. There is not a Band-Aid that is big enough to cover the wound that the Yankees have been for the past 2 months now, we can say, right? Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but wait till Luke Weaver gets it going again. Wait till Devin Williams gets it going again. Wait till Aaron Judge's elbow heals and he gets to be put back into right field. Listen,
if it ever heals.
Garrett Cole, like, it is so serious for me that Garrett Cole could wake up tomorrow and the Yankees could announce that he's going to be back for the next month and a half to 2 months of the regular season. And I would not even flinch because even something as big as that wouldn't faze me because it's not even a talent issue when it comes to the Yankees, right? No. Like, you know how you watch some of these teams and it's like, damn, well, I know for a fact if you had this type of player here, that type of player there, this whole thing could be revamped, with just a couple of moves. No, it's deeper. It's deeper than that, right? Like, I don't care about the household names. I don't care that Aaron Judge may win yet another MVP. Like, I don't care, bro. This team, and I told you, Stefan, they don't know how to play baseball. They look exactly like the same team who lost in the World Series to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And that's why, to me, it's a management issue. To me, it's your message is not getting through. It's a management issue. And again, D-Rail's a great point. It's the culture. That's exactly it. There's nobody being held accountable for the mistakes that are being made. If you make a mistake, there should not have to be a manager answering for the mistake you made. You should be able to stand up in front of your locker and say, you know what? I got that wrong. And I have to be better, and we have to be better as a team. And the idea that, oh, it's fine. We're in a weekend American League, and we're going to make a run for it. That's how they're looking at it. That's the prism in which they're viewing this. And the problem with that thought process is Seattle's better. Houston is Houston. Cleveland, as much as we want to bury them, crucify them, and kill them until they're dead, they're going to be in this mix to the end. The Royals are a pretty good baseball team.
The Red Sox are hot.
Boston just jumped you in the standings, right? Toronto's been hotter than fish grease for the last month and a half to 2 months. There can no longer be, oh, we're in the American League and it'll be okay. Like, in my warped mind, this is what I want to have happen. I want them to miss the playoffs so that they feel the sting of, yo, it wasn't just the Dodgers that was exposing you. This has been going on for 3, 4, 5 years now, right? And it all happened when Aaron Boone became the manager of this team. Because here's the difference. We could say how we feel about Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi, you would have been on the bench. You would have been on the bench. Joe Girardi benched Gary Sanchez, and that's the reason why he got fired.
Right.
They won't tell you that, but that's really is the reason why he got fired. This is why, to Stefan, I'm not speaking for the world. I'm speaking in my own warped mind. There should only be managers who have caught in the major leagues. Catchers should be the only manager that is acceptable to me. Because to me, catchers see the whole field. The only exception I would make is Carlos Beltran, because that guy's baseball mind is the equivalent of dealing with somebody that is damn near you're dealing with a gold mine in his brain. His brain is different. Everybody else, to Stefan, should be a catcher. You should have war wounds of you being behind the plate, having to deal with a pitching staff, having to deal with a lineup, having to deal with personalities, having to deal with all of that. And that's why today, publicly, I'm going to make this call. Ivan, you can clip this up. Jorge Posada, or you're going to think I'm crazy for this, Pudge Rodriguez needs to be called to be the next manager of the Yankees. Either one of those will suffice for me. If you don't do neither, I'm not watching them next year. Right. Because how much?
Right. Before we see a change, right? Because we see subtle changes when it comes to the roster. They'll tweak things here, they'll tweak things there. But it's, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it is no longer a talent issue. It is deeper than that. These are issues with the manager. These are issues within the front office.
Yes.
People who are watching the same things that we're watching and giving it a blind eye. Like, it's genuinely more than what we are seeing in terms of the product on the field.
It's jarring. And the reason why I say it's really jarring is the idea that you're watching this for 6 months and nobody has the stones to say, hey, man, that's wrong. You need to go and correct that. And I'm glad Jeter and A-Rod were the ones to speak on it. And I think more players should speak on this. By the way, Jim Edmonds got fired from the Cardinal booth because he told the Cardinals that, yo, your pitchers are tipping pitchers, and it's obvious. They fired Jim Edmonds.
Right. Look at earlier this season what the Nationals did with Davey Martinez.
Yes.
Because he said it's not always a manager's fault, and it is indeed at times a player's fault too.
Yes.
He lost his job for that. Like, really? Like, the dude was speaking facts.
Yeah.
Oh, but because it's too harsh for modern day society, that means you got to lose your job. What?
Right. Which is why I'm going to be honest. Like, I kind of wish that there are more players in the game, like the baseball equivalent of Udonis Haslem, who was with the Miami Heat for 20 years. You did not walk into the Miami Heat facility if you were not ready to play Miami Heat level basketball. That means being in shape. That means being accountable if a mistake was made. That means being respectful to what we've built. That means understanding that Pat Riley is the one that runs this. Spo may coach this, but Pat runs this. And if you ain't cool with that, you could get ahead. And you could say, oh, well, he culture's crumbling. Look at how they handled Jimmy, and look at how they handled Braun. And listen, last I checked, Pat Riley got more rings than he got fingers. That's what it's about. Yeah. It ain't about being friendly. It ain't about being nice. It ain't about being your camp counselor. It's about trying to get you to win. And listen, none of these managers are ever going to take these positions. I'm going to tell you why. Because you can't manage.
Right.
You can't walk up to a player and say, hey, buddy, yo, that's wrong. Because what they'll do is they'll go on Twitter and they'll go on Instagram and, yo, can you believe my manager just called me out? I'm sitting at my locker and he just told me I got this wrong. And now you're out here requesting trades on Instagram.
Right. Or the manager's out of a job.
which is insane
Yeah.
because it comes down to also too it affects the viewership. Because why do I want to sit here and watch a subpar product that doesn't put the fundamentals first before everything else? What happened to the fundamentals of baseball? What happened to hit and run, bunting? Oh, don't get me started with the extra inning rules. Yo, watching some of these games that go into extra innings is the most painful thing in the existence of baseball. You ever watch a game where there's a guy on second and getting a bunt down is like pulling a teeth? It's like they went to the dentist, they got a root canal.
Now it is, right.
Are you kidding me? Yo,
I
this
feel
game
like
should.
there was a time, especially for some of us who have been watching baseball long enough, there was a time where being able to get a bunt down was a no-brainer. Like there was no better way to go about it other than to do that.
Yeah, not even that. Remember when you used to get a runner over? All they used to tell you was, "Yo, roll over, hit a ground to the second, move him to third, get a sack fly, and you got the lead."
Well, that's the problem though with launch angle now. Your chances of hitting a ground ball are close to none because you're aiming your bat into the sky.
It's
I saw a
unbelievable.
video a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but Frank Thomas, who, by the way, one of the greatest power hitters of all time, as we
Yeah.
know, he was talking about the approach that hitters have nowadays, launch angle, the whole 9 yards. And he said, listen, enough of this. Like, look at how many home runs I hit. Nobody was ever in my ear like, yo, approach the ball like this on an angle and try to get some lift into it. Like, dude, get on top of the ball, and that's how you're going to be able to get some results.
Exactly.
And it's crazy, man, because as I mentioned, like, I know this is a baseball show, but it's happening across all sports. Like the
It's
NBA,
true.
guys just don't play defense anymore. Like it's two teams literally showing up and one is saying to the other, well, I'm going to shoot the lights out more than you to come out on top today. Like, I'm not going to get a block shot. I'm not going to get a steal. Like, it's really bad, man. And this is the start. This is only the beginning because I don't think we've seen what's
we
about
haven't
to come
seen
for the
nothing
next
yet.
few years.
Here's the other thing, too. Forget about just other sports, but defensively in baseball is bad, too. On a simple ground ball, nobody knows how to attack the ball to where don't let the ball attack you. You go get it to prevent something else from happening. And now what happens is the game speeds up for a lot of these younger guys because you got kids in the big leagues now, 20, 21, 22 years old, that should be in college. To me, I'm going to institute a rule. You should never draft a high school kid ever under any circumstances. I'm abolishing that rule.
That's tough, man.
Listen, no.
I gotta hear where you're getting with this because before you get into it, I could see where you would come with that. But it would be interesting to see what other people think as well. By the way, chat, let us know in the comment section.
Yeah, for sure. The reason why I'm saying I don't want to draft high school players is fairly simple. Their brains are not fully developed yet. Neither are their bodies, right? So you got a kid that's 18, 19, 20 years old in the big leagues. Yo, he should be a freshman or a sophomore in college, learning how to deal with pitching staffs, situations, learning how to handle multiple responsibilities and I mean multiple by as in you still got to go to class and complete the assignments, right? Like, to me, you should let a kid be a kid. And drafting a high school kid robs them of that possibility because, by the time I was 18, I was in South Carolina and I was playing with big leaguers and I didn't know what to do. And I was committing errors and my body wasn't right. My swing was all over the place. They didn't know what to do for me, right? Yeah. Because if we're going to sit there and say that developmental teaching is lost at the big league level, it's only going to get worse for the kids that are coming up through the ranks, coming from high school now, where there are no set programs for these kids. There are no set ideas on how these things should be approached, how they should be applied. Like, honestly, it makes me laugh, but I'm like, if you're a high school kid and you just turned 18, you have to go to college for a year or two. You have to. That's a rule. In order to be drafted, same thing with the international draft. No more drafting 16-year-olds. That is crazy to me. That is insane. The fact that you're allowing 16, 17, and 18-year-olds to be drafted at the big league level. They don't even know what it's like to even be an adult.
Yeah.
And you're telling them go be a professional?
Not only are they getting drafted, Stefan, right? But we talk so much about some of them contracts that these athletes are signing for nowadays.
Yeah.
But even at the high school level, right? Like if you're getting drafted at a high school, after college, some of these guys are getting a couple M's, like right off the bat. Like you got these dudes 18, 19, as you mentioned, and they're already getting drafted and being given like the $2 million check. It's like, wait, what? Like these dudes don't even forget wanting to do what it is that even got you to that point. Man, I already made a couple M's. Why I gotta bust my ass any harder if I already came up,
That's the thing too. It's like you realize like you're dangling the carrot before they even achieved anything. Where I remember back in the days, I signed for like $25,000 or I signed for $100,000. Now you got kids signing for $2-3 million.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would I even consider doing anything to improve myself when I got paid?
You know who made a great point recently? And I'm not sure if you saw this, Stefan. But I think earlier today I was reading this quote that Michael Jordan had put out. And he was basically talking about how today's athletes are literally giving the world without putting on a performance.
I sent you that on Instagram a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, like it makes no sense, bro. It's really crazy how, and he's right, because forget getting whatever it is that you're going to get from a team in terms of how long you're going to be there for years and the money on top of that. But you've got endorsement deals. You got all these commercials. Like you got literally players are being labeled as the guy before performing like the guy, if that makes sense.
Look at a guy like Jackson Churio in Milwaukee. Literally, like was in the big leagues at 19 years old.
Christian Campbell earlier this year signing that extension with the Boston Red Sox. And they had to send him down.
Before you even know what to do, they're giving you the money.
Right.
Like I'd rather, and you're going to say, oh, that's bad business. And usually I'm the business-minded individual here. Excuse me. I would rather let a kid go through his process, let him develop for the full 5 or 6 years, however long it may take. Let him hit the free agent market. If he loved his time here, he'll come back if you offer him the right money. And if you don't, he moves on, and that's a success story you can hold on to. Listen, we developed you. We allowed you to become a major leaguer and make lots of money. Now we want to see what your next level of your career is going to look like, whether it's with us or with someone else. And it's just, we give these kids too much before they're even ready to handle the spotlight, which is why, I think it's unfair to a Jack Caglione in Kansas City. You're asked to come up and save the franchise. It's unfair to certain guys of a certain age that come up and you're like, yo, bro, how are we asking this kid to do this? Right? Jackson Churio, Jack Caglione, even Paul Skeens. That's unfair for Paul Skeens.
Right.
To win a game, Paul Skeens literally has to be perfect when he touches the mound. You want to hear something crazy? He was the pitcher for the month of July. You want to know what his record was?
What was it?
He was 1-1 with a 1.67.
Reminds me of DeGrom in his prime when he was with the Mets.
And then we wonder why we can't kill certain franchises when he's giving you literally gems from his right arm every time he takes the mound, but yet you're wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
You're
just
literally
down the drain.
wasting it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I love Paul Skeens. I like watching Paul Skeens pitch. But after Paul Skeens comes out the game, I'm like, I'm not watching the rest of this because the Pirates are hot garbage.
Right. What's the point?
What's the point of it? You're not going to score the guy any runs, and it's almost as if we've gotten away from, what matters. And that's why I think there's a changing of the guard. I think the days of the Yankees running the East and dominating and doing all the stuff they do. Listen, the days of Houston running this thing might be ending faster than we all thought. Seattle's coming.
Yeah.
That pitching is good. That lineup is no joke now. Seattle might snatch this thing and go all the way to the World Series. Oh, Seattle, really? Go look at the Mariners play baseball.
Shout out to the Mariners and their fan base, who shared a couple of comments over the past couple days with us on TikTok, basically emphasizing like, yo, these deals that they recently made are the ones that are going to get us to, come out as the favorites in the AL West and possibly in the American League.
Yeah,
right?
the pitching
Like
is
that team.
that good.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and say this as well. I've shared this with you already, Stefan. But, I know that I'm not going to backtrack after I state this. So what I want to share with you guys is, I know we just spoke about the Yankees. We talked about some of the other teams in the American League that are starting to heat up, right? When it comes to the Yankees and the 2 months that we have left of regular season baseball this year, listen, I'm not going to act oblivious. I'm not going to act dumb. Are they going to get it going for like a couple of weeks again? Of course. They might even do it 2 to 3 more times before the season is over. But I don't care. They will no longer be a part of any talks when it comes to contention in the American League, let alone going back to the World Series. I mean, you could kiss that goodbye if you ask me.
For
and
sure.
if you're a Yankee fan who watches this show and you're really thinking to yourself like, oh, how could Stefan and I even be this way? How could they say that about the Yankees, especially after what they did last year? That's why you have your own way of thinking. Stefan has his own way of thinking. I have my own way of thinking. And we're all basing it off of what we see.
Yeah.
Right? We're not basing it off of potential. We're not basing it off of the American League not being as strong as it once was once upon a time. No. We watch the games, as Stefan mentioned, and that's where we get the analysis from. I'm sorry that you just can't put it together yourself because you don't know how to put your bias and your fandom aside. My apologies.
I'm going to be honest, too. Same thing for Dodger fans. Get ready for a rude awakening, Dodger fans, because there's a world where the Dodgers are out of the wild card round. There's a world where they don't make the playoffs. There's a world where, as good as the Mets are right now, last I checked, the Mets, before the 2 wins this weekend, it had lost 4 straight.
Right.
They lost yesterday, too. They got obliterated yesterday, but San Diego showed them, hey, it's different over here. There's levels to this. You good, but you ain't this good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to how good you can be. And this is why I'm very curious to see what the Red Sox do the rest of the next 2 months, what the Blue Jays do the rest of the next 2 months. Can the Padres and Mariners snatch the lead from these division winners, right? What do we get from a team that sold some of his pieces off but realizes, you know what, we can still make a run for this? Because I'm going to say something that is going to blow your minds, literally. I was thinking about this today. I said, you know what? I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know what possesses me to say this. But watch the San Francisco Giants just go on a run right now.
You think so?
Yes, because now there are no expectations. Now all your bullpen is gutted. Devers is there, but the lineup is not expected. You're not expected to do anything. You're in the National League West right now that everybody's like, oh, yo, the Padres are crazy. The Padres are crazy. The Padres are crazy. Maybe taking the pressure off of the Giants and telling them, yo, just go play loose and free, and we'll worry about next year, and we'll try to recoup it, and we'll get people to come. It's cool. Go play. If you remember, that's basically what the Tigers did, because the Tigers traded Jack Flaherty at the deadline last year. They sold off some few other pieces, and that turned out to be the best thing for them because they made a run and made the playoffs, right? I wonder if there is a world where a team like the Giants, who has no expectations, but veterans who understand the importance of these games, especially coming down the stretch, if the Giants are the team that says, you know what, we're going to be the team that makes the playoffs even after selling off pieces.
Right. Another team I want to mention too, and it's not only because they swept the Yankees recently. Of course, I'm speaking about the Marlins when I say that.
That
The
pitching is
Marlins
no
might
joke.
be, if not the hottest, one of the hottest teams across the league. Forget the National League. I'm talking about in baseball, period. Like this is a team who obviously you look at the National League East, you talk about the Mets. You talk about the Phillies.
Yeah.
Check even the Braves to a certain extent, right? People would talk about before the Marlins. Listen, I don't see them getting in, but I'm going to tell you one thing for sure.
If
Over
they
the next 2 months, they're going to make things feel like hell for every other team that's going to be in it moving forward.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. You don't see them getting in. Guess what? They're
You
only
see it?
six. They're only 6 games back. And with that pitching staff, listen. You want to hear statistics? We rarely give stats on this show because we just like talking ball.
By the way, Sandy got rocked again today, just to put it out there.
He gave up what 6 runs over 6 innings. He was
It's
bad.
crazy, man. Like he has like 2 to 3 game stretches where he looks a little better, and then he goes right back to what we've been seeing all along from him. You know,
That's why I think you need to give him the full recovery process to get past the Tommy John and let his arm kind of go through that process. But since the start of, I think May 23rd was the stat that I read, they're 29 and 13 or 29 and 14 over the last 45 or 43 games. They got the best record in baseball, not the National League. They got the best record in baseball. They're playing 600 ball since the end of May. You can't beat it. They're athletic. They run the bases well. They got some. Augustine Ramirez is going to be a stud.
yeah.
Okay. That kid Kyle Stowers, I don't know what the Orioles were thinking trading Trevor Rogers or whatever his name is for Kyle Stowers.
He looks like a superstar, yeah.
My Lord, can that kid play some baseball? Oh, by the way, we're not even talking about Edward Cabrera. We're not talking about Yuri Perez. We're not talking about if Sandy finds it. That bullpen, they got some filthy stuff coming out of there. Listen, I'm not saying they make the playoffs, but you ever heard the saying, so you're saying there's a chance. That is one team with that pitching in a short 5-game series. I do not want no problems with none of y'all. Sandy, Yuri, Edward Cabrera, no thanks. No,
you know what I like about them too is they're using
thanks.
the fact that they've been doubted all season long as fuel.
Yeah, you saw the quote from Connor Norby who said, listen, the fans, nobody was behind us. Everybody was killing us. The only ones that believed we were going to make it were the people in this clubhouse.
Right.
By the way, how pissed off are you, right? You get 100,000 people to come to the 3 games against the Yankees this weekend. 34, and I think 31 was the full like weekend, like the 3 and 10. You know there was less than 20,000 in the ballpark tonight against the Astros.
Sheesh.
I'm sitting there looking around the yard. I'm like, yo, you just swept the Yankees, bro.
For the first time in team history. Yeah.
You know, the Marlins are the only team with a winning record against the Yankees. That's the only team the Yankees have a losing record against. Mm-hmm. In their history. They're 11 and 16 against the Marlins. How is there now 30,000 people in that yard going crazy right now? Sandy's on the mound. You got the Astros coming in. They just got swept by the Red Sox. Maybe it's a chance to keep it going. You know what I mean? They score first. Maybe the place pops off.
And what I like about the Marlins more than anything else, and I want to relate it to another topic that we got into earlier tonight. They just play baseball. You know, there's no household names on that team over there in Miami. You know, nobody over there is trying to do the most. It's a bunch of youngsters, couple veterans, who know how to play defense, who know how to put the ball in play, and who are hungry, right? Yeah. Like, listen, they may not have a shot at the National League East, but 2 months sounds like more than enough time to sneak into a wild card if you really want it. And that's a team right now who, by the way,
they look like they want it. Yeah, and here's the thing, too, and we're leaving on this final thought. You may not know who they are, but let's name some guys off. Kyle Stowers, Xavier Edwards, Augustine Ramirez, who looks like the DH of the future over there. That guy took 2 Cam Schlittler pitches and deposited them in places that they're not supposed to go. So shout to him.
Maybe the last time they've seen that over there was with Stanton. It's been that long.
And you know where Augustine Ramirez came from?
Where?
He came from the Yankees. He was a part of the Jazz Chisholm trade.
Oh, okay.
He was the headliner in the Jazz Chisholm trade.
Right.
That guy, Augustine Ramirez, that guy's going to hit. I like the kid Stowers. And listen, the kid they called up this weekend, Marusi is the outfielder. Mm-hmm. Boy, can he run. He got some speed, some opposite field power. He's very energetic. Listen. I don't know what they do this year, kids, but guess what? I don't know if you're buying Marlin stock, Ivan, but I might buy me a sliver of some Marlin stock because that's how I want my team to play. That's young, that's hungry, that's impressionable, and that also understands we may not make it because the talent's not here yet. But if we get the chance, you don't want to see us in a short series and you don't want to see us going into next year because we got confidence. The ace is going to be the ace again, I believe, next year. Oh, and by the way, you have Sandy under contract 2 more seasons, Yuri under contract 3 more seasons, Cabrera under contract 2 more seasons after this one. They can do something with that club over there.
Yeah.
Miami, if I could get down on my knees and get back up without hurting myself, I'd beg you to go get some. I'd beg you to go get some offense.
Right. Yeah.
I damn near be in like the begging position. Please, sir. Please give me some offense, sir.
Right.
Like like the change cup that says offense on it. Please, sir.
Listen, it wouldn't surprise me, and they have not been a part of any of our conversations this year when it comes to the playoff picture, right?
No.
Especially in the National League. But it would not surprise me if a month from now, right, over the next 30 days, we're here on the show talking about the Marlins trying to sneak into the playoffs in the National League.
With that pitching is possible.
I wouldn't put it past them.
With that pitching is possible.
I would not put it past them, especially if they are able to maintain this momentum that they currently have. Because listen, I know the Yankees are scuffling, but I'm sure they're using that to boost their morale, to gain even more confidence.
Yes,
you know, as we get deeper into the season, to say, yo, you know what? Yeah, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, and Padres are gonna get in no matter what, but that doesn't stop us from making it hard for them.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, yeah. And the beautiful thing about this as we head out is this, right? Think about this thought, right? You would look, and you would say, "Oh, the Astros got the AL West locked up." You know, by the time we get to June, usually, right? That's usually Seattle. They're good, but we don't trust them. You're walking there with Randy Arozarena, Eugenio Suarez, the presumptive American League MVP, Aaron Judge's MVP's candidacy is over. It's over. He's done. He's not getting third MVP. It's finished.
Really?
Kyle Raleigh's your American League MVP. We don't even have to discuss this, boys and girls. It is done, right? I'm not having conversations anymore. You got to catch her. You got to catch her about to hit 50 home runs. Listen, enough. Go rest the elbow. You don't need no more MVPs. You need to sit your big behind somewhere and just let somebody else get a turn. That's why this episode is called Passing the Torch. Pass that MVP torch, Judge. It ain't yours no more. It's that big dumpers in Seattle. Holla at your boys. That guy is an MVP.
As crazy as it may sound, and I say that because I know for whoever just heard you, as well as myself, right? I know we're thinking like, damn, but how do you say that when you look at Aaron Judge's numbers, even with the fact that he has been on the IL for a little bit, not too long, but just a bit, right?
Right.
And it makes all the sense in the world. Like, look at the position that the Mariners are in versus the Yankees, right? Like, the Mariners can very much be the favorites in the American League.
Yes.
The Yankees, not so much.
Yes. And
now, if you think so as a Yankee fan, I'll leave that up to you. Right?
No, that's fine.
Not for me.
You can have your opinion, but I'll just think about this like this. The Yankees were scuffling this bad with Judge being Judge.
Right. It doesn't
matter. Still this bad. So it doesn't really matter how good he is. He could put a Superman cape on and literally try to drag you to the playoffs. What Kyle Raleigh, see, here's the difference.
And he's doing it from the catcher position too.
That's the difference. Yeah. That's the difference. You have to get through a pitching staff. You have to produce on the offensive end, and you have to be ready to be all world to everyone. You got to be good behind the plate. You got to be good in the box. You got to know all your relievers. You got to get a guy through a game. You got to get yourself through 4 at-bats. And you're a switch hitter. You're doing it from both sides of the plate. Argument done. Kyle Raleigh is the American League MVP. Send the man to the trophy to this man's house. Excuse me. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. Kyle Raleigh is your American League MVP.
I listen. I'm not mad at it. While we were talking about the Mariners and the moves that they did the night of that trade deadline special that we put together. And by the way, guys, if you made it this far, for those of you who haven't checked out that show, go ahead and check it out. If you don't want to see the full show, we did put out some shorts, so you'll still be able to catch up like that as well. But yeah, listen, I'm excited for these next 2 months. We will not be bringing you guys a second episode this week. For those of you who enjoyed that last week, thank you. We really thought that not only was it something that we wanted to do, but we felt like it was something that you guys deserved. And boy, did we make a good decision on doing that, right?
No doubt.
But with that being said, one final reminder. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter or X, whatever it is that people call it nowadays. All three platforms, you could find us at 27 Outs 3C. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button for sure. It literally only takes 1 second of your time, and definitely
and it's free.
Subscribe.
It's free.
And guys, subscribe. Please do not be afraid to subscribe. We've been stuck now on 216 for a couple weeks now. But it's kind of weird because we're getting all these views, right? So it's only a matter of time before we just say, boom, man, we're on the road to 300, right?
There we go. Yep. Yeah.
But I've got nothing else to say, Stefan. I don't know if you do, but go ahead.
No, I'm done.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This was fun. Have a great evening. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. So peace, y'all.